of the Grafton Board of Appeals. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March stay-at-home advisory, we are conducting this meeting by remote participation, Zoom in particular. All the details were posted on the Zoning Board of Appeals website and along with the legal notice. So the first order of business this evening will be case number 869, which is from Steve Belfiore, Grafton Grill. I believe I still need to go through our regular rules, etc. So at this time, I'd ask the board to introduce themselves. And my name's Bill McCusker. I'm the chairman. We'll just kind of go in order. Mary Ann, you want to unmute yourself and introduce? Maybe not.
She's on mute.
Hi, Mary Ann DeRogers, Vice Chair.
Okay.
Kay Reed, Clerk.
Bill.
Bill Yeomans, member.
Brian.
Brian Waller, member.
Seith.
Sitaraman Ganesan, alternate.
Carl.
Carl Parisi, alternate.
Bob.
Bob Berger, zoning enforcement officer.
Katrina.
Katrina Koshavos, secretary.
Great. The way we'll proceed is the clerk will read the petition, and after the clerk's read the petitioner will have the floor and have the opportunity to present their case. It'll be a 15-minute time limit for the petitioner. This time limit can be extended with the consent of the board. The petitioner shall present required information. All comments should be specific. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the petition will have an opportunity to do so. Any letters in favor will be read into the record at that time. Anybody in opposition will be allowed to speak, and any letters in opposition will be read into the record. Opposition will also have a 15-minute time limit. After all the evidence is presented, the board will enter into a discussion and hopefully come up with a decision. At any time during this hearing and prior to a decision being made by this board, the petitioner has the option to request that the petition be withdrawn without prejudice or continued to a later date, at which time further supporting information can be provided. Anyone wishing to speak? Well, it's a little different this time, but somehow you get our attention, I think. And it also includes a telephone call-in that Katrina will be monitoring. But if someone speaks, we ask that they give their name and address for the record. And all comments should be specific. The board may ask questions from time to time. However, all conversations should be directed to the chair. At this time, I'd ask the clerk to read the petition.
Case number 869, the Grafton Board of Appeals has received a petition from Steve Belfiore, Grafton Grill LLC, 410-12 Bridge Street, requesting that the Zoning Board of Appeals grant a special permit to allow the construction of a 10-foot by 20-foot addition on the side of a pre-existing non-conforming structure to handle takeout orders and a pizza oven. Map 27, Lot 20, block 0000. The board will conduct a public hearing on Thursday, June 4th, 2020 at 7 p.m. to consider this request and or to take whatever action is necessary, including the granting of a finding, special permit, variance, or other necessary relief necessary under the zoning bylaw. Copies of the application and plan are available for public inspection on the Town of Grafton website on the Zoning Board of Appeals 48 page. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March stay-at-home advisory, this meeting will be conducted via remote participation. Zoning Board of Appeals, Bill McCusker, Kay Reed, Brian Waller, Sitaraman Ganesan, Mary DeRozier, William Yeomans, and Carl Parisi.
Thank you. So at this time, do any of the sitting members, the permanent members, have any conflict of interest such that they can't hear this case?
No.
All right, so we have the 5 permanent members. At this point, Steve, you have the floor.
Okay. So do you want me to say my name and address and all that?
Oh, yeah, please.
Okay. So Stephen Belfiore, owner of Grafton Grill, LLC. 26 South Street is my residence in Grafton, 01519. And I'm coming before you guys to hopefully get approval for a proposed 10 by 20 addition on the left side of the building when you're looking at it from the street to support takeout for easy in, easy out, as well as a 7.5 foot by 7.5 foot round imported Italian wood-fired / gas pizza oven. It will be an extension of our kitchen, so we will have access to it, from inside as well.
All right. So you're asking for a special permit, and it's a special permit to extend, alter, pre-existing non-conforming, structure. Katrina, we're gonna have to fine tune this process a little bit. I kind of need the cheat sheet for, special permits for the findings. You're on mute.
I know. I totally forgot to get you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any chance that you can email it to me right now or no?
Yeah. I'm gonna have, yeah, just bear with me 1 second. I will get it
Yeah,
to
go
you.
ahead. I know some of it. I just want to have it in front of me so I make sure I capture it. So, all right. So, Steve, what we need to do basically is establish that you're a pre-existing non-conforming structure, right? And we all know that, but I just need to get the facts down. So, first thing would be, when was the building built? Do we know that anywhere? I'm looking for the field card. Year built, 1880.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
All right, its location on the property, I think, is one of the things that makes it non-conforming. Is there a determination or anything from the zoning enforcement officer on this?
No,
Okay. All right, I'm looking at the drawing that came with our packet from land planning. Looks like the building is 12.1 feet off the front lot line. Do we know what zoning district this is in?
It's
Industrial.
Industrial.
All right, industrial zone, 12.1 feet front lot line. I'm sure that right there makes it non-conforming. I'm not even going to try and track down anything else. The lot is probably too small as well. It looks like a 20,000 square foot lot.
Yep.
I'm sure that's too small. So I think we have findings for this being a pre-existing non-conforming structure. So Steve,
I just sent it to you. You should have it.
all right, thank you. The addition is a 10 by 20 addition. Is this taking away any parking spots or anything along those lines?
Yep. So on the proposed site plan, there's I don't know if you guys have color versions, but you can see all the red detail.
Yeah.
And one of the things on the left side is remove 2 parking spaces right next to it so that we could have the flow of the parking lot when you come around the corner. So yes, there will be 2 parking spaces removed. However, when you look at the proposed parking schedule that's also on the plot, we basically have 41 parking spaces on site. And there's another 25 that when I went, and I can show you this, but I have a lease with the Mills, Washington Mills at the end of the street, that I got approval for my patio, which gives us more than enough parking for the patio, but it also now gives us more than enough parking for this, losing those 2 spaces, because we're not gaining any tables in this building. So we're not going to have any customers sitting down at all. They're just coming in and leaving. So those 2 spots that we lose would still be within the parking lot schedule that we have for our employees on shift, and then 1 chair for every 3 customers.
Okay. So, yeah. So what I'm seeing on the land planning document is that you need 51 spaces. You'll have 39 on site and then 25 more. What's that, across the bridge through the Roney Park there?
It's literally at the base of Bridge Street, right at the light. That's the dirt parking lot. So it's within the footage to walk. It's, customers can park there too.
Yeah.
You can walk from there. We did the, the math as far as footage from there to the building.
So I'm just trying, so it's across 120, it's across 140.
Yes, and there's a button, crosswalk there with a button to turn the light on and off.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so we lose 2 parking spots. We still have plenty of parking spots. All right, it's just adding a restaurant capability. You're not changing the use.
Nope. And the other thing that we're going to do, which I think is a lot better for everyone, is we're going to make, if you see on there, you'll see one-way signs. So the entrance is going to be on the right side, and there'll be signs that say entrance only with arrows drawn in the pavement to come around. And then the other side will be exit only. So now, customers now can go either way and they can go around and do all sorts of stuff. But we're going to make it so that there's a flow of a circle to get it around so that there's no traffic jams in the parking lot.
Okay. Seems fairly straightforward. Questions from the board? Anyone?
Yes, I have a question, Bill.
Go ahead, Bill.
And I think, Steve, I think parking has been greatly enhanced at your restaurant because you also have the purchase of the property across Roney, the Roney Park, where your employees
Correct.
are parking. So there's actually more parking available than what has been cited. I do have one question on your certificate of good standing. It mentions that personal property tax, which was due, it was delinquent, it was due 6/1. Has that been paid?
Oh, yeah. I don't,
Okay.
I just got a certificate of good standing for the conservation yesterday and there was nothing on that. So that must,
Well, I'm looking at in the packet that we had
Bill,
sent to us.
Bill,
Yeah.
that's because when the certificate of good standing, if you look at it, was signed on 5/11, they noted that on
Oh, okay.
6/1, property taxes were due.
yeah.
It was just
Okay.
noted, that's all.
I
Yeah.
paid them when they were
That's
due.
fine.
I didn't wait till June 1st. So
Okay, that's fine. That was the only question I had.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Carl? You're muted.
I have a question through you, Mr. Chairman. So my understanding is that you're going to be applying for a tent as well in order to make up the capacity of the lawsuit with COVID-19. So if you do get the permit, are you going to be working in conjunction with the tent? And then you're going to be putting up the extension? Is that going to create a kind of a chaos? I'm just concerned about
yeah,
traffic problems and safety.
So we're going to address the tent next week. There's a separate permit for that. I mean, that question is a very good question, very valid question. I think it's also going to be impacted by the fact that the overall seating is significantly reduced because of the distancing restrictions. But we're a week ahead of ourselves
Okay.
at this point. So
and I will just say one thing. So Mr. Yeoman, you were correct. I didn't put any additional parking yet from the purchase of the property over on the other side of the river. That'll help the tent situation when it's addressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great addition to that area.
Yeah.
And it's a great addition to your parking.
Thank you.
Really cleaned that up well.
Thank you.
I have a question.
yep, go ahead, Steve.
Now this is going to be a drive-through from left to right. In the rear end, there is about 25 feet to the Quincy-Mon River. I'm just, for the safety sake of the customer, will there be any barrier along the river? That way, during winter months, someone, by mistake, step on the gas and, it won't happen. everybody will be careful, but just thinking out loud, like, if there's any safety barrier to protect the customers, that might be helpful, because I'm thinking like it's only 25 feet from the river. Accidents can happen. So I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I could be wrong on this, but help me out.
Steve, is there anything along there? I mean, that all exists today.
Yeah, I mean, there's, we currently use the lot now and they go both directions and, sometimes people get stuck, but I have not had any issues with it. There's nothing, I mean, there's some rocks in certain areas back there along the river, but conservation really didn't want me to do anything back there. Originally, when I bought the building, I was going to put big boulders and bring them back and put them around, and they just didn't want anything over there. So right now it's never been a problem. It's big. On the map, it looks like it's pretty small, but you can turn that corner pretty easily.
I think,
Problems.
Bill,
Go ahead.
if you look at the map also, that 25 feet is to his lot line. I think there's a pretty good distance from there in the banking of Quinsigamon River. So it's not an immediate, if that were to happen, you're not immediately in the drink.
There's grass between the parking lot and that black line, and then there's another, 3 or 4 feet probably that's not mine. That's part of the river.
Right.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I've driven back there a few different times, and I don't necessarily remember that the river's right there, or seeing or feeling that it was closed. I mean, maybe it really is. I just didn't realize it. But okay.
Why didn't you remember?
Moving right along. Anyone else care to ask any questions?
Other concern that I have is, people may, everyone is nice again, but they may throw trash, maybe a water bottle they may throw on the river. They could. I'm not saying they will, but they could. So I'm thinking, like, is there by any way this property can have another entrance to the right, where there is like 106 feet to the river on the right, like, maybe I'm just suggesting, I'm not saying you should do it, but if there's another opening, maybe, you don't have to go behind the building.
I'm not following what you're asking for, Steve. If
you look at the map, the land planning map, on the right hand side, there's about 106.2 feet, or
Oh, all right. So wait, that's
you see what I'm saying?
yeah. It's on the left side of the picture I'm looking at, but okay.
No, I'm just thinking. I mean, I'm imagining as if I'm in the building right now. So on the right side, if the homeowner decides to make an opening there, people can enter there and make a
Yeah, but
go all the way to the back and then get this stuff and walk out this way, so that the left hand side can be used solely for parking.
yeah, but that that 106 foot, that's the property line to somebody else's property, so you couldn't make an opening there. And if you're talking about making an opening onto Bridge Street over on that side, now you're getting into curb cuts and things like that. And I think that the property, has the curb cuts it needs. I don't think we really can get into requiring different curb cuts at this point.
Bill?
Yeah.
There's no way Mass Highway would allow additional curb cuts on this property.
Right, exactly, exactly. But, okay. Anything else? Anyone? So it looks like we got Brian live now. Something got fixed. Is there any phone calls or any public that wants to say anything? Katrina, if you're talking to us, you're muted.
Sorry. We did get one email. We have no phone calls, by the way. We did get one email from the neighbor at 167 Worcester Street. And it was for both cases, but for this case, she has no issue with the addition. She loves them as a neighbor. They're a small business in town and would like us to approve the special permit.
So I did see that. Did everyone see that? I don't think it's on our packets. I think it was something that was sent to the members of the board ahead of time.
Yeah, I
Did
saw
everyone see
it.
that? Does anyone need that to be read right now? It will be part of the record.
No, I saw it.
Okay. Steve, anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, I appreciate your time.
Yep. Okay. So for findings, and again, for future meetings, we'll tighten this up and have a little bit better process for this part of it. But structure was built in 1880. Oh, Steve, do you know when did you purchase it? Just throw it in here.
2015, October.
All right, 2015. Structure's built in 1880, parcel purchase in 2015, is located in the industrial zoning district. The industrial zone requires, Katrina sent me the 40,000 template, so I don't know, but we'll fill that in. So the industrial zone requires some square foot
Sorry.
lot. It's okay. Requires some amount of square foot. We'll fill it in later. This lot's only 20,000. I'm sure the industrial zone requires more than 20,000 square feet.
Yes.
The industrial zone requires some amount of front yard setback. I'm sure it's more than the 12.1 feet that this building has right now. So based on those findings, we are definitely a pre-existing non-conforming structure. So the current use is a restaurant. And this may be a question for Bob, is that a pre-existing non-conforming use, Bob, or is a restaurant allowed in the industrial zone?
A restaurant is allowed.
Okay, all right, just curious. It's not a home, so none of that matters. Neighborhood consists primarily of commercial enterprise. No increase in capacity. Site will have required parking. Yeah, so I think based on those findings, and again, I'll number them after the fact, the proposed addition is not more detrimental to the neighborhood. Do we know if this is in the WSOD? I assume it is. The Water Supply Protection Overlay District, do we know?
It might be, Bill.
It is, yes.
Yes, the site is located within the Water Protection Supply Overlay District. All right, so current existing building is 2556 square feet according to the land planning document. You're adding 200. That is less than 10% of an addition. So I think we're good to go on that. The change is an increase of less than 10%. So I think we're okay in that regard. So I think for findings, we've got the findings we need for a special permit. At this point, I'd entertain a motion to grant a special permit to Steve Belfiore, Grafton Grill LLC. So that's the owner, right, Steve? Of the property?
Well, the owner is 1012 Bridge Street LLC.
All right, that's really who we should be granting the special permit to, I believe.
Yeah, so it's not,
Okay.
it's 1012 Bridge Street LLC.
Yep, and that's on the,
Yeah,
that's on the legal. All right, so grant a special permit to 1012 Bridge Street LLC. To allow the construction of a 10 by 20 addition on the side of pre-existing non-conforming structure. Yeah, to handle takeout orders. So we'll do basically what the legal notice says.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? So we'll do this on a roll call vote like we normally do anyways, just so it's recorded. We'll do it like other boards do. Just please state, I'll actually call you and just state your name and yay or nay. So we'll start with Mr. Waller,
Brian Waller, yes.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans,
Bill Yeomans, yes.
Ms. DeRozier's,
Marianne DeRozier's, yes.
Bill McCusker, chairman, votes yes. The special permit has been granted. There is, we need to type it up, file it with the clerk. There's a 20-day appeal period. After the end of the appeal period, Steve, you can pick up a certified copy from the town clerk. However that works in these days, I have no idea, but I'm sure Katrina can help you. And you want to make sure you get that filed with the registry. All right, so that is pretty important that you get that filed with the registry once we have it certified after the appeal period. So that's that. So motion to end case number 869, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Motion made and second. And again, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Waller,
Yes.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans, Ms. DeRozier's.
Yes.
yes.
Chairman votes yes. Okay, we're good. Steve, we're all set.
Okay, thank you.
I don't even have an agenda for tonight's meeting in front of me for whatever reason. Well, because I didn't print one out, that's why. I don't. Anyone have it? Katrina, what do we have for agenda?
Yep. The only other thing on the agenda was if we wanted to do minutes. That's it.
I point out that one of these,
We have a call? Oh. Berger's calling in. Okay, put it through.
Yes, caller.
Can't hear him.
Berger's on mute.
But I think he's trying to use the phone.
He's trying to use the phone to see if it works. I don't hear him. Berger, are you talking? I hear a dial tone. He's gone. Oh, they lost him in the booth. So,
Okay. In all
Bill,
seriousness, in all seriousness, I think we're the first to be trying to have the telephone call-in
yes, we are.
option. And so, Bob, if we can try to get that to work, that would be good.
Hey, Bill,
Yeah.
can I leave or do I have to stay on?
No, you can leave.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, no,
All right.
thanks.
Good night, Dave.
Bye, Steve.
Yeah.
Bill, while
I'm
they're
actually,
playing
I'm
with
actually
that phone-
checking, I actually have somebody who's actually watching on TV, so I was just checking to see if they actually could hear the guy on the phone. And the answer was no. So
I couldn't hear him either. They lost him. They hung up on him accidentally.
Okay,
So they're gonna try again.
all right.
One of the minutes are executive minutes.
Yeah, so we don't want to do that. We'll sit on the executive session minutes until a later date. We do have minutes from February 12th. Does everybody have those? They were in the packet.
Yes, I have it.
Anyone have any comments or changes or edits? They want
There
to
was
make?
one question I have, Bill, on the first page. I didn't see any problem with it. On the second page, Elm Rock Estates, I have a question in the second sentence. It reads, the amount is 459,000,018 per the letter.
That's a really big number.
That's
I
a
will
real,
fix that.
okay, that was the only thing that I saw.
Okay.
Any other comments? So a motion to accept the minutes of February 12th as amended.
So moved.
Second.
So motion made and seconded. Mr. Waller,
Yes.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. So that's all set. We're not doing those. Anything else on that agenda, Katrina?
No, that was it.
Okay, so couple things. We're gonna meet next week. Again, for Grafton Grill, that's gonna be for his tent. I believe that Steve's gonna, in the interest of trying to get his business up and running as soon as he possibly can after being shut down for so long, I believe that Steve is gonna erect the tent ahead of time. I believe he's already been talking to fire and people like that to make sure that he's doing things safely, et cetera. And he understands.
Tent's already up.
What's that?
The tent is up.
Yeah, so he understands that he's doing that at his risk, that he could end up being turned down by this board. So everything he's doing is at his risk. But I think he's hopeful that we'll be supportive of him getting back into business as soon as possible. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware that if you drive by and see the tent up, that's why he's doing it, and we can obviously address that petition next week when it comes in. I think I think this venue has worked. When the whole COVID started, I made the decision to not hear any cases by this manner. My thinking was that, we wanted to make sure that the public has as much opportunity to comment on cases as possible. When I made that decision, I didn't necessarily realize that it was going to be many, many months. And at this point, I think that it's not fair to the applicants to continue to delay. So based on how things went today, I mean, it's a little rocky, but I think there's a couple things we can work out. I think the process will be smooth. I really would love to hear that phone work, but I think Bob will work those problems out over the course of the week. I think some of the things we can tighten up is make it a little bit more clear in our legal notices that, we anticipate to be broadcast live on TV with a phone dial. And I think even the most technologically challenged folks will be able to do that if they want to. So I think we can do this and be fair to both the community and the applicants. So I'm going to have Katrina go ahead and schedule the other cases that we have for the 25th. So we will meet on the 11th for Grafton Grill again. Adams Road Trust wants to come to us. We'll put that on the agenda for the 11th. And then I think we have two cases that'll be on the 25th, right?
No, we have three. 165 Worcester Street, which is David Meridian to build a 2-family, and he's looking for a variance.
Yep.
4 Park Court, she's looking for a special permit just to build dorm or things over steps. And then 28 Bernard Road, for a special permit, she's doing an addition on one of the little houses down on Lake Ripple. The other two things we also have, Fisherville Terrace asked to come before us. I just got an email from Steve O'Connell to revise the plans again. And Providence Road Commons asked to come before us to have the bus stop enclosure removed so they can do the final set of plans and get that closed out.
Providence Road Commons. So that should be a request for determination of it's a significant change or not to the 40B, right?
Correct.
Have they actually sent us something in writing asking us?
Yes, I got it in March.
Okay, all right.
And
We-
then
we-
everything
we can-
happened.
We could put that on the 11th.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Which one do you want that on, the 11th or the 25th? I was thinking on the 11th, we could do High Point, Grafton Grill, Providence Road, and if you want to do Fisherville with Steve, but that's your call.
Yeah, let's do it because,
Okay.
and that gives us, if any of them need to slide to the 25th, we can do that. Now,
Okay.
out on the 25th, I thought one of those 3 cases she didn't want to meet.
Well, called her twice and left her messages. I'm gonna try and get a hold of her again tomorrow to find out if she definitely wants, if she can handle doing a Zoom meeting. Because I did inform her that the building is closed and it would have to be via Zoom, that the public is still, we are supposed to be opening the building next week for more employees, but it is still gonna be closed to the public.
Yeah, okay.
Bill, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
I noticed on the warrant for the town meeting, High Point is on there for the acceptance of roads. Is that is that relative to them coming in?
Oh, yeah. That's exactly why they want to come in. And we do have communication. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, Bill. It made me think of the fact that I participated in the Finance Committee review of that warrant article last night. They are of the opinion that we should be acting as the planning board and issue a report as a planning board would typically do regarding the acceptance of the roads. But we have communication from Jenny Kramer saying, no, it's the planning board's job to do that. Katrina, do you remember seeing that email?
Yes, I do. And Chris was CC'd on that email, and Chris knows he's supposed to write us another memo, but I will get back to him tomorrow to find out if he can at least get me one for next week.
Yeah, no, it's not even us. So I think we just want to make sure we have that communication from Jenny printed out. I think we need to share that with Adams Road Trust.
Okay.
Because Tim actually asked about it, and actually their attorney asked during the Finance Committee hearing last night.
Okay.
So we should make that communication available to them, and we'll listen to what they have to say on the 11th. But we have advice from council saying that it's not our job to issue any sort of a statement on that.
Okay.
In addition, and just for the record, I mean, it's all on tape. I did comment. I tried to stay as factual as possible because, of course, there is pending litigation between us and that applicant, over that project. But I did share exactly, cease and desist, appeal, and then on to Superior Court, that sort of stuff. So the Finance Committee was aware of it. So, all right. So I think we've got a map for the next two meetings, the 11th and the 25th. If anyone else has any comments about how we could do things a little bit better for next week, feel free to, either share them now or share them with me or Katrina after the fact. But I think this has worked out okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Anything
Brian, I'll
else?
get you fixed on the next email. I don't know what happened.
No problem.
All right. Anyone else have anything that we would want to talk about?
Motion to adjourn.
This is where somebody says second.
Second.
Perfect. All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye.